Welcome to the Decision Point Live. I'm your host, Andy Kaysen, and with me tonight, I've got Steve the Hitman Caladesi, and we've got a special guest that we're about to bring in. But of course, guys, it is St. Patty's Day, so happy St. Patty's Day to you guys. Cheers. And we got to shout out Underdog Fantasy. Shout out to them. They sponsor this show that we do on Thursday nights, and they're still doing 100% instant deposit bonus right now for new signups using promo code QUEST. We got some big news to cover. We got a ton of fun questions to answer. We got a ton of big news, the biggest risers, fallers. Let's dig in, guys. Let me bring these guys in. What's good, Hitman? How you doing?
What's up, man? Just doing good, man. It's spring. It's feeling like spring anyway. I'm sure it's already warm by where you're at, but we got up to almost 70 today, so it's a beautiful time to be alive.
Yeah, we got up to 70 around these parts. I think it was just yesterday. Folks, good to see you again. I think I was back on the stream a while ago. It's been a hot minute. Brandon Kavanaugh working with Andy, working with Steve. Great to be here. Loving it. Very excited because not just what Andy was saying with regards to, oh my gosh, right before we came on here, Davante Adams from the Packers to the Raiders. How about that? I know we're going to talk about that in a minute. But not only that, we've got the introduction of the football card quest. Kick the fantasy out, football card quest. Official mailbag. So we've got questions from you specifically. Folks in the chat, let us know you're there. When we start talking questions, I want to hear what you guys have to say too. For those fresh to the stream, fresh to the quest, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon. Every step on the quest, we want to hear from you guys all along the way. So, folks, what is up first?
Yeah, man. So guys, I don't know if you guys remember, 402 Collector has been on the channel before, but I want to officially introduce you because you are the content director for the football card quest here. You're helping me out behind the scenes, rebranding, making what we do here better, man. So I appreciate you. I thank you. And I'm excited tonight. So I think we got to lead off with this. I mean, I hope that you guys have been investing in Derek Carr. He seems like the big winner from this monster seismic, the latest news in NFL free agency is Davante Adams to the Raiders.
I thought Carr was already a good investment, and I think that it's going to be harder to get his cards now, but it's definitely a better investment now. I mean, that receiving core looks really strong all of a sudden.
So I'll say this too, folks. If you hear me when I come on, you will hear this a lot. I remember watching Derek Carr when he was back at Fresno State, and I said that is one heck of an athlete. Now to have him a little bit more seasoned, obviously, with that receiving core. Who are we feeling? Let's see. Brian Edwards. We got Davante. We got Davante Adams. We got Hunter Renfrow, Clemson boy. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. And I ask you both: is there an AFC West matchup now that you are not looking forward to at this point?
It's going to be every week's going to be like a feature game almost.
It's going to be a treat. And I'm loving, by the way, I am loving that Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson to the Chargers. Man, Herbert needed that defense last year. Could have used a lot. Maybe probably would have made the playoffs. I'm even going to go that far. But wow, you got Russell Wilson to Denver. You've got Raiders with a stacked wide receiving core. I'm excited. And then, of course, this dude, Patty Mahomes, whoever that is. But no, I look forward to that. That's going to be awesome. So, Mr. Kaysen, what's first? What are we doing?
Whew. Well, we've been getting a lot of questions on the channel, so we want to dive into the mailbag. This is some really fun questions here. The first one actually pertains to the AFC West, and I saw the A-Rob news to the Rams today as well. That was really cool. Let me shout out Joel Garza in the chat. He's always first to our live streams. He scooped a quantity of 8 Topps Chrome car refractors. PSA 10, Joel. You are the man, dude.
Well done, Joel. Well done.
Yeah. He's got a 4-leaf clover in his back pocket there. HT Sports A-Rob to the Rams. Derek's got a comment here. I think this is for you, Steve. Steve the Hitman. Steve is infamous for winning fantasy football championships and winning in sports gambling. So he's a tremendous asset to this channel. How do you like that nickname, Brett? The Hitman Hart.
Yeah,
I think you nailed it right there.
One of my favorite wrestlers of all time too, so I'll take it.
I think he nailed it too with that infamous Calendar. Infamous Steve Calendar. I like that.
We'll add
you
it.
can
to
put
the
that on a
list.
T-shirt. Yeah,
we'll list it to the. Yeah, we'll add it to the moniker list.
There we go. I love it.
Nicholas, the big Chiefs fan, is in the house. He's not so excited right now about his 2022. And we don't know what's going to happen to Tyrann Mathieu yet either. So that's some interesting news to follow. What's the Chiefs defense going to look like? And the Chiefs offense score to keep up with these guys,
The Chiefs, I heard we're looking at Cordero Patterson, which will help them offensively, but they got to keep the defense balanced a little bit too.
Yeah, I heard that. What now, Andy? We're ready to dip into the mailbag. I think I heard exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah. So first question up from Honey Nuts over on the YouTube channel. He recently bought a rookie ticket auto of Denver Broncos' newest tight end one. He was already on the team, but they traded Noah Fant. So now you got Albert, and I'm going to try and say his last name right. Okwuegbunam.
Okwuegbunam. There it is. Just throw it all to Okwuegbunam.
That's better than Albert,
So he got a rookie ticket auto of his numbered out of 85 for 18, and now he's noticing that they're up to around $30 or $40. He wants to know if he should sell it right now or hold it till he starts catching some balls from Russell Wilson.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, when it comes down to it, let me ask you this. I think he also said that he purchased it for a certain amount. I think he said he purchased it for $18, and he was looking to sell it. So right now it's going to about $30 to $40. Question being too, should he sell it now before he starts cashing them? Just double up on his investment, or wait to the season? So, Steve, what do you think about that? If you had that, got it $18, you could probably double up right now. Would you go ahead and cash in on that now, or with Russell Wilson coming into the Broncos, would you hang on to that and see what can happen there?
Yeah, I think it depends on your personal situation. If you're just looking for an extra $20 for gas, move it now, right? But if you're not really hurting for money and you want to, roll the dice a little bit, it definitely wouldn't hurt you to hang on to it for a bit, especially because it's numbered. I think that, maybe you could see it uptick to, maybe $50, $60. And who knows, maybe he breaks out and maybe it goes up even more than that.
I think you got to hold on to it. I think you got to hold on to it because the potential for Albert Okwuegbunam.
There we go.
I'm going to say it really quick like that. I'm just going to call him Albert O. I'm just calling him Albert O. I'm sticking with Albert O.
All right.
Albert O this season is tremendous. I mean, he's got an incredible athletic profile. The guy's got a 100 percentile height adjusted speed score. And Russell Wilson arguably has never had a tight end this good besides Jimmy Graham. And when Jimmy Graham was his tight end, he finished as a tight end number 4 and number 7. So you're looking at a potential top 5, top 10 tight end in an offense that's got to put up points. They're going to be passing the ball. They're going to be putting up a lot of points, especially in their division. And I think that his current fantasy expectations have not risen to top 5 tight end status. He's still going in like the 9th to 12th round of fantasy drafts, probably in like closer to the top 10 or 15 tight ends. So I think he could still go out and overperform. You get some big boom games from him in September. Due to the rarity of that card, that now goes up to a $60, $70 card. I'm kind of with you there, Steve. I mean, in terms of getting the most upside out of that card.
It's true. And Andy, to your point, Albert Okwuegbunam, there you go, just fly through it. Out of 85, I mean, that in and of itself, so 85 exists. Rookie ticket auto. Love the card. Your favorite? Quickly Carter's. I know that, Steve. I don't know how you. Well, no, I just saw you had that Levante David right off before we came off the air, so I'm going to assume we all like it.
Definitely.
Very fluid card. Andy has said this before. Again, Steve, I agree with entirely. If you need to move that, if gas money, whatever, by all means. However, that is a sweet opportunity out of 85. Definitely. And if you have some other cards of Albert, by all means, like if you want to move those, very cool. But if you want to go ahead and slap that in a one touch, get some nice lighting, 30, 40, 50, like Steve was saying, very possible. Definitely, I don't think you could necessarily go wrong, quote unquote, with either of that. But I would agree with Andy that there is a lot of potential there. Of course, there's always some risk. You never know what's going to happen. But at the same time, I mean, Andy kind of broke things down with regards to that. I think he broke that down incredibly well. Now, Steve, got a question here from Snorlax, one of the most recent additions to the Patreon Discord, which, by the way, folks, patreon.com/footballcards, $6 a month, giveaways, eBay sniper articles, all kinds of stuff. The Discord, believe me, you got to check it out. Good stuff. Now, Steve, from Snorlax, what do you do with all of your, and this seems kind of harsh, worthless base cards?
Well, I don't buy as much wax as I used to, but when I did find that to be an issue as well. It does take up a lot of space, especially if you're buying, like some of the lower end product where you have more cards per pack per se. It does get to take up space. So I was hanging on to them for a while, and then I just realized, you know what? I'm going to take out all the rookies, separate them, which ends up being still a pretty big pile. But I honestly, the best thing I would do is, I know some channels donate them, but I use them for shipping purposes. And if you sell cards on eBay or a different platform, they are outstanding to put on the front and back of a top loader inside of a team bag if you're shipping cards. So that is the number one thing, because not only is it giving back to you, it is protecting your now investment in whatever cards you're selling.
I think that's a great point. I do the exact same thing. And I know folks that I have bought from, or, we've discussed this whole thing, they do the same thing. So, for example, I recently purchased an Eno Benjamin with the Cardinals. The individual I bought it from used a couple of actually kind of older base cards, but they were both Cardinals. And I remember somebody in the Discord said, hey, if you send something like that and they don't like the team, are they going to get mad at you and leave some negative feedback? Never had that happen, honestly. But it's a great opportunity where, if the person, if they bought a Tom Brady, like if you are selling them a Tom Brady, it's, pricey card. I think the least you could do is add that, let alone a few other things. But again, if you've got a Buccaneer fan, for example, might know one of those in your life. Maybe send them some Gronk stuff, some Brady stuff if you have it base. It makes a great shipping opportunity, adds a little bit of a personal touch as well. I don't think you can go wrong with that. But also, Steve, you mentioned this as well, donating them to children's hospitals. I know there are groups that do that, or they have cards for kids, stuff like that. A great opportunity to get kids involved with the hobby, but also definitely, I know there's some kiddos that would really enjoy being involved in that way too, having something fun to work with. So that's another great opportunity. What about you, Andy? What do you do with quote unquote worthless base cards?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea, and I thought about taking my just base cards. Like for example, I bought some full sets of Donruss and I plucked out the main rated rookies, and I have the rest of the set. I think that there's a lot of kids like at Boys and Girls Clubs and inner youth city type of centers where their kids don't have much there to do. I think they would enjoy going through the cards. Maybe they do put them in their bicycle spokes like the kids used to do back in the 50s with like Mickey Mantles and stuff. But no, I think that's a great idea. Or I love Steve's idea as well, man, because you never know who's going to get those. You never know where they're going to take them. Maybe they do have little kids and they want to play with them. And, like when I have base cards myself and people send them to me, those are the cards I will let my kids hold. I won't let my kids get close to any of the, the good investments, but those base cards of, lesser known player. Hey, even some mosaic Denzel Mims that I invested in last year, I'll let them hold those at that point.
And this is a great example, folks. If you are selling on eBay, if you're selling football cards on eBay, which we've got a great playlist that we're already putting together, there you go. Proof is in the pudding. When you have an opportunity, when you've got a parent like Andy, or you've got just anybody who appreciates the little extra touch, I think that's going to that's going to pay dividends. Good to see you, Jets. Good to see you amongst the chat.
Yeah, Jets got Brady in the house, got Filthy Collector, Steeler 96. Brian, not too happy about the Steelers. We got with the Mitch Trubisky pickup. But I know Steve's got different feelings about that. Got Laystick in the house. It's good stuff, guys.
And I got to say too, bumping in there real quick, and this will kind of be a preview when Andy and I talk about the draft I'm kind of curious to see if the Steelers don't decide to dip in, go for that local boy, and go with Kenny Pickett for that quarterback spot to bring in to learn under the great Mitchell Trubisky. But yeah, I think that's an opportunity there. But all being said, a lot of great ideas for those base cards.
So I've got a question for you, Brandon.
Oh boy, here we go.
This is from Hoya Panther in the Discord. And his question is, when are the best times of the year to buy and sell? This is a great question. I want to hear your opinion.
That's a fantastic, and I will say too that I have been fortunate enough to learn under the tree of Andy Cason and Steve Caladesi. I'm among David Hunter and all the other people over on the Discord. So I think I have this figured out. And if I don't, it's been about a year that I've been back hardcore. If I don't, by all means, school me. Okay. So two main times when I would personally buy. One is during this season when there is a bit of a lull, especially when folks have been knocked out of playoff contention. Now, there are folks that you know are going to do well, but everybody's looking to the hotness, to, last season, to the Joe Burrows, to the Jamar Chase, to everybody over there. Oh, the bright lights are over here. I'm going to look over here. Meanwhile, you've got people who are kind of being discounted. It's like, oh, why would I want these losers? They're not doing anything. Great opportunity to get in there, especially if you got guys that are sleepers. Let's say, for example, that Andy has pointed out, made the case, and you say, oh, wow, they're over here. Nobody's paying attention for them. Good opportunity there. However, I will say the best time to buy is right now. Right now? Yeah, like right now. But don't go opening eBay just yet. Open another tab if you have to. Right now would be the time to go out, because right now, what is happening? Literally right now. Let's see. We've got the NCAA tournament that just kicked off today as recording. That's going to be going on heavy for the rest of the evening and tomorrow. You got March Madness going throughout. You've got the NBA playoffs coming out. Nobody's paying attention to football right now. Well, not nobody, but very few people. I can see Andy's enjoying his beverage. So I would say, definitely between now to the draft and then even after the draft. But NFL offseason is definitely the time to do it, especially if you can get basically after the Super Bowl leading up until the draft, because at that point you've got so much going on elsewhere. Two, I will say you now have a delayed MLB start time. So there's a lot of sports that are going on right now. Meanwhile, leading up to the draft, folks kind of have NFL going on in the back mirror. So how did I do? Steve, how did I do? Was that accurate?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I would think that the best time to buy could actually just be any time, because there's always a guy that may have underperformed a week or maybe a few weeks in a row. Look at Mahomes at the beginning of the year. Look at Rodgers at the beginning of the year. And their rookie cards were tanking. I mean, you could have doubled your money if you bought a couple of these guys, So that's like the best. There's times during the year when you think that you couldn't get deals, and you can. So I think that just, when someone's looking here, Andy covers this all the time. When someone's looking here, when everyone was buying Burrow, you could have got a discount on Herbert, right? And trust me, when everyone was buying Herbert, I got a discount on Burrow. I can vouch for that. So that's really when you want to do it, because there's value to be had constantly,
Yeah, and I'll say that my opinion differs a little bit. I honestly am moving more and more to thinking the best time to buy is October, November during the season. And I say this because we see how much hype drives up prices. So we have all these this speculation going on about teams on players on new teams, and their expectations going up. And now we got the draft, and then there's going to be a lot more new players on new teams that are also going to drive up speculation and hype for these players. And then in August, you have fantasy drafts and preseason mini camp that are driving up more hype around how players are actually going to perform. And then if they don't actually come out and perform up to those expectations, their card values are going to inherently go down. They may be a good player, but they just didn't live up to the expectation that was, given to them prior to the season starting. We saw this happen with Patrick Mahomes. You just said, Steve, last year, prime example, and his card prices dipped in October, November. If you would have bought in then you could flip in January when it comes time for the playoffs. When we know certain teams like the Chiefs are likely going to be in the playoffs, you flip them as they're getting into the playoffs. And I just really like that time period more and more to kind of buy in and then flip in January. But I wouldn't disagree that any given week you can find opportunities if you're looking where everybody else is not. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I remember saying, oh, Patrick Mahomes, he's done now. He hit his ceiling, so on and so forth. Well, maybe we wait until the end of the season to see if that's true. But a great point. Great point, both. I think, again, depending on who you are looking for and when you are looking, there is always a deal to be found. And maybe not even necessarily on eBay, maybe on ComC. Of course, eBay is going to be bringing up their vault. We'll see what happens as we get close to the season there. But again, you will get folks who, like Andy said, oh man, you know what? I expected you to do so much better 3 weeks into the season. I'm just going to get rid of this now. There you go. Excellent opportunity. So there are times when you can get it. But I would say in terms of just genuinely periods, like I would say, hey, person who is brand new where I was a year ago, this would be the time to go. But both of you, 100% correct. There is usually always an opportunity to strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah, and don't forget that playoff probability and market size play a big factor in the value of a player's cards, especially during the season. Take the Houston Texans. I remember going back to 2020, Deshaun Watson was playing as a top 5 quarterback. However, the Texans still finished like 4-12 or something, and his value tanked October, November. What happened? I bought in. And then after the season was done, when people were having that reflective time period and free agency was coming up and the draft, his value shot through the roof, and I flipped every single one of them for like triple my money. And that's just because, after the season's over, the playoffs are done, people reflect on the previous season and look forward to the new season. And this whole new possibility opens up of what teams are capable of. And that playoff probability and that market size drives a lot what we see happen during the season as we get to the playoffs.
So what you're saying is you had a lot of Mike White sitting around for that one day. For that one day, he was going to pop off.
Not me, but I know Jet's crazy. I'm drinking a Lightning Lager, by the way. Shout out to 81 Bay Brewing. I found out one of my neighbors in my neighborhood here owns a local brewery, so that was pretty cool. He hooked a brother up.
Delicious. Well, as you are enjoying that beverage, Andy, we got another question here. Justin has tacos from the Discord. What is your biggest investment regret, or at least the first one that comes to mind?
So the first one comes to mind is when I first got in. I kind of think about this as like, when you're starting out a video game, whether it's like an RPG or you're playing Madden and you're creating your character, for the career mode, how do you divvy up the attributes? Do you put it all on strength or all on speed, or you try and balance it out and, make like an even keel player? And typically when I'm playing an RPG, and I did this with my sports card portfolio when I started out, I had a $250 budget. I kind of spread it out evenly amongst a bunch of different players. One of those guys was Patrick Mahomes, and I was buying his rated rookie cards for $25 a piece whenever I first got in. And let me tell you guys, I had the opportunity to buy 50 of them at $25 a piece. And that's definitely my biggest regret. I should have just put all my points, all my budget into one attribute category, and that was Patrick Mahomes. I just didn't understand how this sports card game worked at the time. But I flipped them within a matter of 3 weeks from the time I got in April of 2020 to literally May of 2020. Those went up to $75 a piece. And then, the rest is history. They're probably at like around $250 right now for a raw rated rookie Patrick Mahomes. So, that's definitely my biggest regret. What about you, Steve?
Biggest hobby regret. I think a lot of us are going to have a common theme here. And I think that a lot of it has to do with, when we first got into it or when we got back into it. And that's just kind of not having like a good focus on what or how to invest your money. If you're investing, if you're collecting, you just buy what you like, right? But if you're looking to buy to hold for a year or 10 years or even a month or two, it's best to know what sets. It's best to know, what players are hot. And like you said, I think you guys can learn a lot from Andy's channel, like I did. And if you're getting back into it, and I think the biggest regret was just like I bought a lot of like Score football and stuff like that, and I bought some Prism College last year. Now I will say that thanks to guys like Micah Parsons and Mac Jones, I did make my money back and some. But I think in general, I won't go as nuts on the college Prism this year like I did last year.
I don't know about college too, but I will say if you folks happen to find some Micah Parsons, might be worth hanging on to. That is a kid I remember watching live and in living color in Lincoln, and then also when he went off to Penn State. It's a generational talent. Same thing when I saw Ndamukong Suh. It's like, yeah, this person is ready. If I would have seen Levante David for even a couple more years, I was feeling good about him, but I didn't know he would get to where he was. JJ Bama, how are you? Looking forward to see where Jamison Williams goes in the upcoming draft, and looking forward to see where Bryce Young is in a couple of years. But as far as me with regards to regrets, again, I really have only been back hardcore for about a year now. And I would agree with Steve. I don't even necessarily know that I have a lot of regret as I look at every opportunity where perhaps I made a mistake or a misstep as a learning experience. So I can't really say I have a regret, but I would agree that honestly, while I did, kind of make some of the same calls as, oh, I'll go with Score, or, oh, I'll go with this, that not having that focus at the beginning, research is key. And I know you want to come right out and you want to get cards, you want to rip, you want to open packs, I get it. It's fun. However, if you want to be smart about it, if you want to be smart with your money, which is very important these days, research is key. And especially when that comes to, okay, I want a player. I just want to collect. I want to collect a Levante David. There's so many, and Andy, one of the very first video that we have on the very front of this channel is saying there are so many parallels. It's not the 90s anymore, as I learned very violently. But you want to look in and you want to see if even whether you're a collector, if you're a collector, get whatever you like. But as an investor specifically, with so many parallels and so much going on, you want to see what everybody else is interested in, because it's not necessarily what you like at that point. It's what everybody else likes. So I would definitely say as far as a regret, don't really have many regrets, but definitely knowledge is power. G.I. Joe had it right.
True. Agreed.
So coming back around here again, Steve, got one for you. From Nick from the YouTube channel. If you're looking to buy a 2021 Contenders rookie autograph card, I love them, when is the time to buy in terms of supply hitting the market? So the most recent Contenders rookie ticket auto, when do you buy?
Well, they came out pretty late this year, but I would say generally, if you're going for one of the top guys, who's considered the top guys right now, I would wait because you're paying a little premium for the hype of the new product coming out. If it's a guy who's like under the radar, you think's going to pop at some point, now is definitely the time to buy it, because no one's looking at a lot of these lesser hyped prospects, right? Or a guy that could be the next defensive player of the year. No one's really looking at those guys. Just like nobody was like targeting Mac Jones before the craze of the Mac Jones cards went off. So I think that if you're looking for like a Justin Fields, I think that you wait. The Bears are not going to do anything special this year. Do I personally hope he takes a huge leap forward? Absolutely, as a Bears fan. But I think that the price on the rookie ticket autos for the main couple guys will go down a little bit, especially you have the new rookie class coming in here pretty soon, and there's going to be a new cycle of guys people are looking to buy. So that's my take.
And I see Brady Smith asking, who are your top targets to buy? Well, I'll kind of parlay that in with this. I was fortunate enough to get in on a break for Contenders. It was a pick your team. The one that I could afford was the Dallas Cowboys. The one I could afford that was left was the Dallas Cowboys. The reason I picked Dallas, Micah Parsons. This is a guy that, again, defensive players don't get a lot of love in the hobby, but this is a guy that, again, when he popped off as defensive rookie player of the year this past season, I think you're going to be seeing that again and again and again, and I think his stock's only going to go up. If I was able to get in the break, money is no object, I would definitely go for like San Francisco, looking to get that Trey Lance. If I could, honestly, and going with Steve, I like Justin Fields. I like what he can do in the right situation, with the right offensive coordinator, with the right offensive line around him. I'm very excited about what he could do. Mac Jones, is not a guy that I look to be a heavy hitter. I think his ceiling is closer to a Ben Roethlisberger. So not to say that he can't win it all. I'm just saying to folks, oh, we got another Tom Brady. You never know. But not what I'm necessarily seeing. Trevor Lawrence is getting some interesting help. He's a guy that I don't know I would go out of my way to get. But if the situation presented itself again, where it's like, hey, would you like to have him just in case? Sure, I might hedge my bets a little bit here, but definitely Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Micah Parsons, and then maybe a Trevor Lawrence or two. What about you, Andy? If you had the opportunity for rookies or whomever the heck right now, who you buying?
Yeah, so part of this is easy for me because I am a lifelong diehard Tampa Bay fan, and the one guy you haven't heard anybody talk about since free agency, the tampering period started, now free agency's kicked off, is Lombardi Lenny, man. And you haven't heard a peep from this guy, and this guy had some of the best receiving metrics of any running back last season. Another incredible season from him. And I think that's because they're working on a deal to bring him back one more year with Tom Brady. It's the Brady effect. And right now his cards are very undervalued. He comes with draft pedigree, really good high school and college resume. People get really excited about him. He's still very explosive. He's only 27 years old. I like investing in him, not only for some personal collection value, but also for flip opportunity as, the NFC is wide open, especially with Tom Brady back at the helm and all these incredible key players in the NFC going to the AFC. I mean, I don't know who's going to be in the Super Bowl from the AFC, but I know it's going to be, or hopefully it's going to be my Buccaneers from the NFC.
I'd say that's a fair bet. I don't really. Who is going to step to the Bucs at this point?
Well, of course, the Rams, and the Packers, I'm sure they're probably going to draft somebody. So there's some contenders out there. The San Francisco 49ers are still pretty good. Another guy I want to talk to you guys about, because this question from Nick is very interesting to me because, 2021 rookie ticket autos were just released. So the supply is just hitting secondary marketplaces. And I think that means the best time to really let that supply make its way out to the eBays and to the MySlabs and to the Facebook marketplaces of the world and everything is like October, November. I go back to that time period again, but think about it. If it just came out now, it's going to take a good at least 3 to 4 months for it to fully, everybody to break it, everybody to get all those rookie ticket autos. And then those people have got to list those cards for sale. So I think you're looking at the best time to possibly buy 2021 rookie ticket autos is October, November. One guy I'm really excited about in 2022, I'm not going to lie, is Elijah Moore on the New York Jets. This is a guy that's really shifty. I mean, ran a 4.4 on his pro day, incredible speed, right? And whenever he had an 80% plus snap share last year, he was scoring as a top 5 fantasy wide receiver in the NFL. I'm pretty sure you guys can remember those boom weeks he had with Mike White, and then he had a couple more with Zach Wilson towards the end of the season. He struggled a little bit coming out of the gate, but this is a guy in a big market team that can make some big splash plays this upcoming season. I think he's just a really nice stash to be able to flip after he has a big boom game. New York Jets have the largest TV market size in the entire country.
I think so, and kind of a number of people are looking down on Zach Wilson. I definitely think there's some room to rebound. I don't necessarily look at him and see an elite NFL quarterback, but I see somebody that can definitely pop off. And from an investment standpoint, somebody that doesn't hurt having around for when, I believe that's going to be when, that happens. It looks like, James Wainwright, see, he knows what's up. Made over $400 profit off Micah cards so far. You keep grinding. And much like you say, Andy, this break that I got into, the group that I got into, Mojo Break, thank you very much, boys. This was one of their very first Contenders breaks. Like, this was one of the first 3. So what I'll be receiving, like you say, is some of the first that's actually getting out there. So I am looking forward to get that package. So let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, so one from James88. big Cowboys fan, I believe, from the Discord. If you could only keep one card in your collection, which would it be and why? So we've got a little bit of philosophical stuff going on. If it was me, and I got some major ones as of late, to be honest with you. I would say if I was going to keep one, it would probably be my 2012 Levante David Prism rookie auto, which I actually got for my birthday. That's one that had been my chase card for a hot minute. Though that's tough for me to say because Andy right there did send me a Levante David shortbread Prism. So please don't hate me for that. That was my chase card for a while. And two. I will also say that includes my first submission to SGC, who I do also heavily endorse. Mint SGC 10 Justin Herbert Prism Black Silver. That may be moving as well. If you're interested, let me know. But Steve, if you had to give it all away except for one, what are? Oh, I should also say why, real quick. Levante was a guy that when he was at Nebraska, for those of you who don't know, I covered Nebraska football for about 15, 16 years. He was one of the guys that came through around the time of Ndamukong Suh. When I got into the industry, it was via college football recruiting. So this was somebody I was up close with, somebody that I watched, somebody that got the opportunity to talk to and kind of develop a relationship with. To see him then go on and do extremely well in the NFL, who I believe, by the way, personally, low-key, Hall of Famer. I think you're going to. He's just been under the radar all the way. If you haven't watched Levante David highlights, head on back. So just that personal connection for me is why I would hang on to that. Steve, you have the floor.
Probably some of my PC Bears cards. Either. And you
no plural. One.
One. Yeah, it would be a toss up between my PSA 10 Trubisky. And my PSA 10 Roquan Smith field level silver, probably one of those, because I think that he's a guy that definitely hasn't gotten the love he deserves, but he's definitely reminds me a little bit of Levante David there, man.
It is a good time. It definitely is a good time. Andy, what do you got?
Well, I got to shout out JJ Bama here because I see his comment and I couldn't disagree more with you, JJ Bama. I think this upcoming draft class is deep with running back, wide receiver, and potential quarterback talent. I'll talk about it in a second. But this right here, let me zoom in so you guys can see this.
Oh, here we go.
This right here was sent to me by JJ Bama with a thing on it that says PSA 10 population 1, and it's a Roberto Aguayo total bust kicker that we drafted in the second round. But it's a championship rookie ticket auto, PSA 10.
That's gorgeous.
Autograph card. Yeah. So I'll never get rid of this. This is on the wall forever. And I guess I had to pick from two because this is a Lombardi Lenny that you guys heard me just talking about. And I won this from my co-host on the QuestCast, Carter, who covers LSU football. I won this from him in a bet, this PSA 10 Lombardi Lenny RPA here. That is numbered out of 99. This is a bet, and the Bucks beat the Saints in the playoffs, and I was gonna have to send him like a PSA 10 TJ Watt or something like that, and I won that one, and I lost 2 previous times earlier in the season, so this was a big deal, and so I'll never get rid of that one either.
So again, this is down to one. So if you had to hang on to one of those, putting you on the spot, which would it be?
JJ Bama.
With JJ Bama in the chat, who is it going to be?
JJ Bama. I'm sorry, JJ, man. I'm keeping the Lombardi Lenny. Roberto Aguayo was a bust.
He's a big Lenny fan. And to JJ Bama, real quick, your question about that. I will say that this draft, real quick, Andy and I think are going to talk about this quicker or closer to the draft. I believe this to be a draft. If you are hobby centric, this is not the draft for you. This is not a good quarterback class. We have been spoiled with the past two. This is not going to be one you're like, oh, golly gee willikers, I got to get in on those quarterbacks. However, if you're looking for playmaking wide receivers, if you're looking for running backs, if you're looking for defenders, then you've got a draft. I mean, we talk about Devontae Adams now heading to the Raiders. What is Green Bay going to do? They got Randall Cobb, but boy, howdy, wouldn't it be good if they got somebody else? There are a number of wide receivers that could drop to them even later in the first round that are very exciting. There are 2 out of Ohio State. There's Jameson Williams from Alabama. So there are a number of very exciting offensive talents. I think we will see a lot in the first couple of days.
I think
Yeah,
that,
I do too. I mean, yeah, you talk about Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave from Ohio State. Those guys look incredible. Both sub 4.4 guys. I mean, it's insane. You look at Breece Hall and Isaiah Spiller. I mean, there's some really talented skill position, and the tight end class. The tight end class is incredibly deep, and we know how that position is being utilized more and more in the NFL as a receiver. And less as a pass and run blocker. Those guys that can do pass and run blocking and receiving at a high level are unicorns. Look at Kyle Pitts in Atlanta. So, it's just, I think that this, the class is not driven by the quarterbacks per se. There just hasn't been one that's getting a ton of hype, maybe outside of Malik Willis. But you could look at some sleepers like a Desmond Ridder, who at the combine, this guy ran faster than Marcus Mariota. We're talking about one of the fastest quarterbacks to ever run at the combine. And he had really good interviews, really good IQ test. And so he's got really good athletics. He could emerge as someone that does some pretty impressive stuff in the NFL. And you got a couple other guys too. I mean, Kenny Pickett, he might have the smallest hands in the league and still out there slinging touchdowns for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We don't know.
We don't know, but hey, I think it is about time, boys. For the folks who have hung around, we always enjoy this. We need the hotness. We need the snipe opportunities. What do we have?
we got something.
Oh yeah.
Are we gonna go with the one I sent you earlier?
Yeah, let me pull. Oh yeah, I'm gonna pull that one up right now because I am bullish on this guy for 2022. Let me go ahead and share my screen. This is one right here.
Now you can pop eBay up in another tab, folks. Get ready for this.
Yeah, that is ending tomorrow. All right. So James Conner on the Arizona Cardinals just re-signed with them. They released Chase Edmonds. So this is going to be at least a 50 to 60% snap share opportunity share for James Conner in 2022. He was a top 10 running back last year. James Conner has the ability to do it all. Arizona has one of the highest pace of plays. They're a prolific offense. You've got to cover them on the outside. You got to cover them deep with Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm looking at very exciting stuff from James Conner again in 2022. And if you just comp this card out to what it's selling for right now, Steve, I think I looked earlier, and this card is comping out to about a $50 to $60 card. You know, this 2017 product with these on-card optic autos are really pretty scarce. I think this one's even it's numbered out of 150, but these cards, people hang on to these type of cards. Wouldn't you say, Steve?
Yeah, it's a beautiful card. Cool signature too. I like it's very clean. Not a lot of scribbling, no sticker. It's got a lot going on. Plus it's numbered. Plus it's a guy that's going to score a lot of touchdowns this year.
And not to mention his story is incredible. This is a cancer survivor right here. This guy's got incredible grit, toughness, all-purpose playing ability, and he's only 27 years old. I think he's got at least 1 or 2 more good years left in the tank.
Yeah, like Steve said, gorgeous card, great story for James, and also, I mean, that rated rookie logo to pop everything off that cherry on top of the sundae. That's one thing that I learned as well. It's a hot piece of property. If you're just now getting into the hobby, when you see that rated rookie, if you're looking at a quality get, if you're looking at a get that Andy might point out, you can't really go wrong with that rated rookie, especially like you say, 49 out of 150. That's solid. I know that David Hunter too, longtime friend of Andy's, also in the Discord, very knowledgeable individual. I believe I saw that he enjoys numbered cards specifically because, you know, print run this, print run that, kind of here, there. But when you have a numbered one, you are specifically seeing there are 150 of these. There are 99 of these. There are 25 of these. There's only one of these. And I think that drives FOMO even more because, oh, gosh, I got to have this one because there's only so many, especially if it's a one-on-one. I hope to have one of those at some point.
I got one more for you guys because I've been talking about him. I'm going to show you right now why he is such a good investment. Are you kidding me? Numbered out of 15 playoff rookie ticket auto, on-card auto. Right now, it's only at $22.50. This 2017 card. Now, I know I'm not expecting Lombardi Lenny, even though his name is Lombardi Lenny, to get a Super Bowl MVP in 2022. That would be an incredibly long shot, but Cooper Kupp did it in 2021. He did do it. I'm not saying to comp him to that. I'm just saying if Cooper Kupp's card in this comparable value can get up to about $1,000 raw, then this card can at least get up to $100 in a better market for Lenny. He re-signs with Tampa. They make a playoff run. This card right here, ending in just under an hour, to me has a tremendous room for financial growth.
You've got just over 45 minutes if you want to hop on that one. And yeah, I mean, Fournette, this is a guy, again, going back to LSU, he was a great watch, as Carter will tell you, as I will tell you, he was a fantastic watch. Actually sat out his final bowl game to prep for the NFL. He is definitely a guy that can pop off and definitely have a hot streak. So this would be an excellent opportunity. Like Andy is saying, this would be an excellent opportunity to jump in on a card like that, or really if you're looking for Fournette in general, not a bad buy. We mentioned him a little bit on the show. So this is a great opportunity for you to jump in on that. And I'll tell you what, if you want to get a little bit of extra gas money, that would probably be one way to go about it. And real quick too, we got JJ Bama coming back, says, where does Jameis Winston
Wins
end
none.
up?
Jameis wins none. Well,
wins none.
all I know is thank God he does not end up back in Tampa. That's all I know. He is a free agent. He is a free agent right now, JJ. So Steve, where do you think Winston goes? He is coming off an ACL tear as well. He may miss like part of mini camps and OTAs with that ACL recovery. What's your thoughts, Steve?
I think probably the Saints, but I'm still skeptical that he's ready to start the year, which means I think that a team with a questionable starting quarterback situation may still sign him with the prospect of him starting maybe by week 4 or something like that. So not sure where. I think Saints are probably the answer, but I mean, look at all the teams with question marks right now, like the Browns and stuff like that. So that's a possibility too, you know.
Who didn't have a question mark before last week. Apparently they've been on the outs with Baker. I find it, it's really class in there because I'm actually a pretty big Baker Mayfield fan. I think that a lot of what happened to Baker Mayfield last year was injuries. I mean, he literally played through a torn throwing shoulder for a lot of the season. That they should have held him out. There's a lot of games like he went into with not only the shoulder, but like a groin and this and that and this. And like, dude, the dude is incredibly tough. And yeah, he's very emotional. So his ups are really high and his lows are really low. So I know that they're completely done and he's gone. So I think that ultimately Winston goes to a team that is comfortable with him throwing the ball down the field and taking a lot of risks. Not the Seahawks, right?
Oh boy, Jameis Winston taking risks. That doesn't sound like a fun
several
weeks.
To be fair, his touchdown to interception ratio was quite good last year.
Yes, let's be fair.
And let's pretend like the season before it wasn't 1-to-1. So
there you go. But hey, that's only 2. That's room for improvement. That's 50%. That's not bad for a batting average. But Steve, we've got another one here going from Jameis back to James 88 again from the Discord. What is the biggest risk in the hobby, whether it's a card, what have you? Biggest risk you've ever taken that paid off?
I'm usually pretty particular about guys that I invest in. It is a QB driven market, so I did buy outside of my normal spectrum, if you will. And I bought a pop to Ryan Tannehill rookie, graded auto on card, etc. And it worked out great. I mean, I think I 4 times my investment on it. So it just goes to show you, it does play into what you said earlier about buying not necessarily what you like, but buying what maybe someone else might like, right? If you're buying to collect, obviously you buy whatever you want. But if you're buying to invest, treat it the same way you would a portfolio. If you had a stock portfolio, you don't buy just this energy company or this whatever precious metal. You would probably want to diversify a little bit because there's a buyer for just about, every commodity out there.
It's true. Diversification is key. That's another thing that I learned early on. You definitely want to identify what other people are going to like if you're looking to invest, and then have the opportunity to move a number of different players around, whether not just quarterbacks, but also skill player positions when they do pop off. So there will be that one running back. There will be that wide receiver, Jamar Chase. There you go. So there is plenty of opportunity there. Andy, biggest risk that you've taken within the hobby that has paid off in the end?
Well, it's always nerve-wracking when you're spending hundreds of dollars on one card, a piece of cardboard with a grown man on it. And that's exactly what I did last year before the season, last summer. And my process was right. Great athlete. It was Amari Cooper. At the time, he was on the Dallas Cowboys. This was a Silver Prism auto numbered out of 85, PSA 10. So I had the scarcity, I had the autograph, I had the condition, PSA 10, everything was there. I comped it out. Very hard to find comps on a card that rare, especially when you're limited to a lot of times your free available resources are 90 days sales history. But I comped it out. I spent $180 on the card and ended up holding it for about 6 months. Held it towards the end of the season, but it paid off big time because I ended up selling that card for close to $400 and made a tremendous profit on it. And so that's, you build that confidence when you make moves like that and they pay off, and you followed your process and it paid off right. So that was a big risk for me at the time that paid off very nicely in the end.
I got to say, for me, and I think this is way more common when it comes to ripping wax. This is very important. Okay, one thing to keep in mind, especially now with social media, with Twitter, with Instagram, you are seeing big hits. You are seeing ads from whatnot. You're seeing breakers pull these awesome cards, and I know what you're thinking. Oh man, I got to get out there. I got to get in on this. Yeah, well, here's the thing about that. So there are actually odds of what you might pull on these mega boxes, hangers, whatever you may have. It will tell you what your chances of pulling them are. I'm going to break it down for you. It is more or less essentially gambling. So if you have an addictive personality, that can get real dangerous in a hurry. Now, that being said, if you like to rip wax for the experience and you're cool with whatever comes out of that silo, that box, whatever you are opening, cool. Enjoy it. Have fun. Rip with your kids, whatever you care to do. But do not, big flashing signs, do not open product hoping that you're going to hit big, because you are going to be disappointed. More often than not, you're going to get frustrated, and then you're going to feel bad. And this is why this is supposed to be enjoyable. It is known as the hobby, capitalized, because it is a hobby. Okay, it's some folks are fortunate enough that they can have a card shop, or they can sell on eBay, and they can do that successfully. But that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of investment. In some cases, it takes the opportunity to get lucky, which I'm coming all around, giving you all that context. So I say, when I first got back in, the big set that I first got to enjoy was Select, NFL Select 2020. It was a fun rip. I did get my hands on several mega boxes, was able to get in on that. Opening with my son, had a great time. However, I will credit him with having the touch, because we actually we ripped a mega box and we came out with a it was a die cut, which I'm not a big fan of. It was a die cut Justin Herbert white, silver. Ended up selling that thing for it was a pretty penny. But suffice it to say, paid for the mega box and then some. So I will say, any situation where you're able to actually rip a product and come away basically out ahead of whatever you spent. So if you spent, well, for example, if you spent $100 on packs or boxes of any kind, and let's say you pull a Justin Herbert that you could sell for $500 in theory. Okay, cool. You came out ahead there, but was it a risk? Oh, you better believe it. That was a major risk. What would you guys say about that when somebody comes up and says, "Oh, hey man, I got to get a hit on one of these"? At that point, are you saying, "Whoa, easy there"? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Did I forget anything in there?
I think going into pack ripping, with the expectation of profiting is not a good strategy. I think you hit it pretty good. Pack ripping is definitely entertaining. Pack ripping is a gamble. It is the same as spinning the roulette wheel or scratching a lottery ticket off. You are not guaranteed to get the big hit. Obviously, big hits do come, but if you buy a hobby box and you expect that you're going to get a rookie ticket auto from the new Contenders of Justin Fields, you might get a lineman that doesn't get drafted, right? I mean, that's just the reality of it. So I would encourage people to watch a couple breaks and just kind of see what the expectation is. Just so you know, if you're doing it for just to buy and enjoy, it doesn't really matter what you buy, as long as you're not overspending on the product. And from what I'm hearing with the retail aspect of future NFL cards, I guess they're working on a more affordable pack ripping experience, a couple of more entry level sets for people that aren't just trying to buy into breaks and stuff like that. So in the next coming years, and I think that's good. I think that you need both aspects in the hobby.
Yeah, I know retail wax has gone up in prices, like the blasters, the hanger boxes have gone up, but I have seen that it's more readily available. I have seen that it's more readily available. They have over 50 different sets, and I think you probably get at least a dozen of those in retail. So I feel like, even if they do add, even if it's unlicensed, right? You find a pack of Sage, or I think I can walk into my Walgreens and find this Collector's Edge or something like that box. It's like a unlicensed Chronicles or something, type of thing that's licensed directly to players, just didn't have logos. I still think that that's cool. If you can find a pack of cards that, hey, you have a chance. At least it's just something. It's mainly for kids. It's for younger people. It's for people that just want that experience, the emotions of ripping a pack and not knowing what you're going to get, with a chance of getting, something nice out of it. I think that's cool. I think everybody should experience that. Me personally, the one break I've ever done, I didn't get a single card of the team I bought in for. So I was kind of scarred for life after that. And I was like, I learned the easy way. Like,
it will do it quick when you get into a break like that. And this is a thing anymore. I just live vicariously. When I have the opportunity to maybe get in very inexpensively every once in a while, that's cool. But again, if you have an addictive personality, something to avoid, just get on Instagram, live vicariously, that kind of thing. Play Blaster Playoff for $27.99. Sounds about right. Sounds about the going rate for
Walmart, which is up. That's up $8 from previous year.
Walmart has decided to pick up where the secondary market has. They're like, well, no, if that's going to happen, we will do it for you. Boys, I think we got about time for one more question here, and we're going to end off with a good one here. From Third and Long from the YouTube channel, can position players hold value into the season? And we were talking a little bit about running backs and wide receivers. I think they can, especially when, Andy has talked about, Benjamin, for example, with the Cardinals and various other skill position players. Absolutely they can, but I don't think you necessarily go into a season thinking, oh, well, I definitely can. I'm going to hold on to this individual, through the playoffs or whatever. I think that's a thing where you have to be ready to go. So this is, for example, if you're selling on eBay, that's a great thing to have ready to go before week one, because once they pop and they, for example, if it's a wide receiver, if they have a 200-yard game with a couple of TDs, regardless of who it may be, folks will be swarming to that person immediately. If they're on a big market team, if they're on a team with notoriety, Dallas, New England, New York Jets, yeah, people are going to be swarming to that thinking, oh, this is the next guy. And he may be, but we don't know that. And if you're looking to get a return on your investment, especially if they had that gigantic game, and maybe they had a couple that looked pretty good leading up to that, I would say that that's an opportunity for you. So do they hold value deeper in the season? They do. And if you get a guy like a Derrick Henry, even though he went out with injury, his value stuck around even when they dipped. They hung around there pretty good, and then upon his return, things got hype. You know how that goes, Andy. Things go up. So can they? They certainly can, but you go into that accepting the risk of these are guys that are taking more hits. These are not necessarily quarterbacks who are behind 5 large men. And then if you add the tight end, maybe a 6th. You got guys out there that are taking shots. Running backs, they're taking a shot every down. Wide receivers, they're taking shots. They are, getting jammed. Like, the opportunity for injury goes up quite a bit when you're out there taking shots. So is there opportunity? You bet. But again, to Steve's point, when you're going to do this with skill players, you definitely want to diversify on that. Because definitely with anybody, one play's all it takes. But when you're getting smacked around even more, it takes shorter amount of time in some cases.
And that's why it's such a great parlay with Best Ball Fantasy, because you're trying to handcuff guys. You're trying to stack a team, set it up for success throughout the duration of the season. So even if the wide receiver 1 goes down, where you've handcuffed it with the rookie ticket auto of the wide receiver 2, all of a sudden he becomes the alpha for a couple weeks. His values go up 100%. You flip the card. Same thing with the running backs, that kind of scenario. We saw this happen last year with Nick Chubb and D'Ernest Johnson. Nobody's ever heard of D'Ernest Johnson, but you heard about him that Thursday night when he had 3 touchdowns, and his rookie ticket autos, because he was an undrafted free agent, went from literally $5 to $10 to $100. Same thing with Tyler Huntley on the Baltimore Ravens, and so forth and so on. I'm interested to hear your opinion on this, Steve.
Yeah, I think that, diversification is a big deal, and having guys before they break out. We've talked about this before, and that covers skill position guys too. Like you just said, look at how much D'Ernest Johnson cards went up. You couldn't have went and bought that card after the game unless you paid a super premium, right? So it does pay off to have some guys that aren't quite there yet, right? Because you don't want to be that guy paying top dollar for them at that point. Like, look at guys like Kareem Hunt, for example. If the starting running back goes down and he fills in, I mean, he's known to bust off for a lot of TDs, so he's going to bring a lot of value to him. So a guy like Khalil Herbert from the Bears last year, if you look at people paying for Contenders breaks for Khalil Herbert spots, it's going for like well over 100 for his spot, and he's a backup running back. So
yeah, his yards per carry were sick though last year.
But that just goes to show you there is value in skill position guys, and there's even value in skill position guys that aren't considered starters yet, right? Look at what flashes of greatness we saw from Van Jefferson, and maybe he'll see about the same target share, or maybe he'll see more with A-Rob going there. It's hard to say officially at this time, but you always invest in skill. The guy will always get his chance. He'll always have his breakout game at some point. And you don't want to be the one that's just starting to go find his cards, right? You want to kind of do a little research and kind of pick them up as the player's building steam up,
That's why I say if he's a dynasty stash, then he's a guy you want to stash in your card investment portfolio, and you want to have him for down the road. Or a best ball late round stash, you want to have that guy in your investment portfolio.
Definitely. Zigging when other people are zagging, as Carter wants to say. Folks in the chat and watching, if you're enjoying what you are seeing, please hit that like button. It does help us out and helps the algorithm say, oh, golly gee willikers, these guys are awesome. So please go ahead and smash that down there. Again, hit the subscribe button. Stop on by patreon.com/footballcards. Check us out. Enjoy it. You can enjoy it for a month. If you don't like it, fine, but I think you will. Boys, I don't know about Steve, but I know I'm older than Andy, and it is about that time for me. So wrapping things up here a little bit, I want to thank you guys for being here. Definitely check out Andy and check out Andy on Twitter, Epic Card Quest. Check out me myself, 402 Collector. It's been awesome to be here with you guys. I enjoy so much working with Andy with the channel. We've got a lot of great stuff coming out. If you're looking to buy and sell everything with eBay, we've got that coming up along with targeting. Some excellent folks to pick up. Andy, it's been a lovely evening. Steve as well. Any thoughts as we kick things off and head off to bed, possibly?
Surprised you're able to keep your composure through that. I'm pinching you, man. You don't got no green on, dude. What the hell's wrong with you? You look pretty Irish to me too.
I thought you were showing off those forearms with I thought you were flexing.
Well, You know, well, hey, to be fair, the last name is Kavanaugh, so I'm going to lean on that a little bit. I don't even know that I have a good green shirt, so that explains that. I was about to come on here with my University of Nebraska baseball jersey, in fact, so that would have been even more stark. But that being said, folks, this has been a treat. Gentlemen, this has also been a treat with both of you. I look forward to doing this again. To everybody else, thanks for coming. Take care, stay safe, go Big Red, all that kind of stuff. We will see you next time.
See you guys. It's been fun. Happy St. Patty's Day.